I'm Dave Koch. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to revisit the Airbnb that we shot at the Cambria, which is in downtown Salt Lake City. This is kind of a boxy sort of Airbnb, very small, very long and thin, but it's got a great view. The Capitol is right outside the window, so that's something we definitely want to capture. That's about the only thing that really makes this shot tricky. That, and of course, it being a very long and thin shot. So we have to do a little bit of, extra lighting to make sure we get that all even. But it's actually really not all that hard once you get going. So let's go ahead and take a look at it on site, and then we'll come back here and I'll show you how I edited it. So to get that, I put the camera here, and I knew I was going to need a tilt shift to move it around where I wanted it. I composed this image. There we go. And I think that shows the whole apartment or whatever really well. Obviously, the window is way overexposed, so let's bring it down to where we can see that Capitol right out there. And see, I put that Capitol right in the window, right where I want it. And I've got the room right where I want it. You can see it's about 10 times more light there, so that's the problem with this image, and that's what the problem I need to solve here. Probably gonna need all my lights. I'm gonna leave C right about here to light this foreground area. I'm going to keep B back here with me to light the entrance. And I moved D over when I was shooting the laundry room. I'm gonna move that over here to light this far part of the room. Put it over here, I think. So I think that should give me the image that I want, I hope. Oh, here's B. You little rascal. Let's come on over here. And just to make it easy for myself, I'm going to put B up there. And all right, now let's work on our exposure. I think F9 is all we need on this. Let's focus on that window right there. I think that works. I think a 5-stop bracket will work. I think that's a pretty good exposure. Maybe just a little bit more. There we go. All right, let's shoot that. Okay, I'm most concerned with that window pull. I think that's going to work, but I am going to shoot a single window pull all by itself just to make sure I've got it. And there, that's 0.04 of a second. Let's go to where we know we can get an exposure at 200, and let's see what our flashes are going to do to this. All right, that does not look bad. Obviously, we've got a flash in the shot, so we need to take that out. So I'll just move it to over here and take a second shot. It was D. Of course, it's always D. We'll put D here, and we'll try that shot again. All right, here we go. That looks pretty good. Just for the heck of it, I'm not too worried about having the flash there in the other shots, but I'm just going to go ahead and shoot those ambients one more time because I'm here. I might as well cover myself. So let's shoot those so that we know we have clean components. All right, there we go. I think this shot's done, and I think that's really the signature shot for this room. Well, there you go. As you saw, that was a very straightforward shoot. Essentially, we reshot the ambience the one time just to make sure that I didn't have a problem with that flash being in the shot that I couldn't see on the small screen. In case you haven't noticed, yeah, I have to wear glasses, so sometimes I don't see everything. Anyway, very, very straightforward shot. Should be a very, very straightforward edit. Again, the really important thing here is getting a clear view out that window of the Capitol. As you might imagine, that's the money shot. So let's get into it. Here we are with the first set of ambient that we shot, and this has that flash in it. So we are going to go ahead and just skip that just because we did shoot over it. There's our window pole, and look at that Capitol. That is just beautiful. We are, I think, just going to use that just as it is. So let me give that a yellow or a green or whatever color I'm using today. So we have these two flashes. I'm going to go ahead and use both of them because I've got them. Why not? This will be the main one. I love having electrical outlets like this because they're always white. And I can just click on those, and that looks really good. Let's bring the exposure up. Just as an aside, the way I kind of set exposure is I try and get my bump right under like the 3/4 line. So right about in there. That's about what I want for a room. I think that looks really good. I am going to bring up saturation a little bit, and that's because this client also painted the paintings on the walls, and I know she really wants to see those pop. So I'm going to do this a little bit, knowing what she likes. You'll notice too that, we've got no real obstructions or anything here. There is this bucket right here, which is really, really ugly. Again, this is something that this client wanted in the shot. I don't like it at all, but this is part of their what they do with their Airbnbs, and so that has to be in the shot, so it is. But a lot of this other stuff is going to end up being taken out. Anyway, where are we? That is good. So let's go ahead and give that a green. And now I'm just going to copy that straight across to this other one. Maybe bring the exposure up a little bit. And we'll go ahead and green that one. And then now we've got all our ambient. Let's go ahead and bring the exposure up a little bit. I'm looking for the far side of the room here. I realize we're losing a couple of stops as we come this way in the room. So I'm going to do this room as two exposures and bring them both together. I think this looks pretty good. I'm going to bring down the highlights and bring up the shadows a little bit. That'll help hide cutting in the window a little bit. So there we go. There's a lot of glare on that picture, so obviously we're going to use the flash for showing those. But that looks pretty good. So I'll green that, and that's for the distance. And for the closer part, let's go here, hit previous, and bring that in and see how that looks. It's a little too much. So let's go there. And that looks pretty good. I think we can make this with those 5 exposures. Let's go ahead and green that. So I'm going to select the 2 ambient, the 2 flash, and the window pole, and hit F10 to send them on over. These will not be in the normal order that they usually are when I do all my adjustments, because we shot the ambience after the flash, not before it. So they'll almost be in the order that I want to use them. Well, we've got the window pole on top. Let's just go ahead and cut that in. This is boring. Maybe I'll speed up. Maybe I'll just cut through this. But again, I just think it's easier just to cut these in and not make a big fuss with it. How much longer would it take to set up Flash and do that Flash method? I'm not a big fan of that. I don't even think it looks good, honestly. I think this looks pretty good and gives you more control. And it's really pretty dang fast. There are other situations, like if we had a lot of plants in front of this window, I would do this completely differently. But that's not the case here. Look how quick this is. It's the hardest part right here. And we're done. Look at that. Hit the mat and there we go. It's going to look ugly now, but that's fine. But there we go. Let's go ahead and just turn that off so we can deal with the other layers. Here is one of the two flashes and there's the other flash. Let's put them in a folder, put a white on that, and then we'll just put a black on that. And let's see if there's, I'm going to now turn the black on and off and see if there's anything that I really want to use that flash for. There really isn't. I mean, we can bring in a little bit right here just to darken those a little bit for contrast, darken that a little bit. But, by and large, that works pretty good. I think you can also see here too, our flash is showing up in the windows. So when we do this, it's going to look a lot better. All right, now let's turn off our flash layers and go to our ambient layer. I'm going to put the darkest layer on the bottom, and then I'm just going to, ooh, that's way too high a flow. Let's bring that flow way down. You want that flow to just have it come in real slowly so that you've got some control over it, like that, so that it's not just pouring in, so that it's nice and subtle and you can bring it in slowly and carefully. And I think by and large, that does it. All right. Now let's go back up to our flash group, turn that on, bring it down to in the 70s, and switch our brush to a black brush. And get that ceiling taken care of first and get that looking natural. There we go. Look at that. Get that shadow to disappear from back there. I'm going to try and stay away from that picture. Like I said, I don't want that to get all washed out. Oops. Sometimes I do that. I get that ruler and that brings that line down. I find it rather annoying. I don't like that at all. So I'm going to hit Control Z and step out of that. And let's go a little bit wider. There, we're really seeing the contours of that wall now. And there, I think that's okay. I see right here a dark spot. There we go. And let's take that, clean that up, make that a little bit more even. Yeah, this side of this is not looking, it's not coming through very easily. It's looking dirty. So I'm just going to play with it a little bit. I'm going to make it bigger so that it affects the whole area rather than splotchy. And that might make it there. That looks a little bit better. Let's see if I take this off. Nope, there's glare on that. Now, if I hit X and reverse here, can I get rid of some of that glare? There we go. All right, I'd say by and large that looks pretty dang good. Oops, that was not a good idea. Let's darken that up there. There we go. All right, now let's start bringing in that window pull. Right about there. See, just a little bit. And that looks really good, I think. All right, let's Control S, send that back to Lightroom. And once it's back in Lightroom, we'll do our straightening. And we'll go as far left and right as we possibly can. And I am definitely seeing some chromatic aberration there. So we will take care of that. Let me see what happens if I put a straight line across that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right. Now I am seeing the chromatic aberration right there. Do you see that red right in there? Reddish orange. So let's bring this up and see if that takes care of it. Nope. Let's make it, there we go. So we need to go to there. And then we'll just copy that onto the green. There we go. And that should take care of the picture. Edit in, back to Photoshop. I'm also seeing a lot of blue cast right here. So I'm going to put a filter on top of that, a hue saturation filter, and I'm going to go to just the blues, and I'm going to bring down that saturation, and that obviously sucks all the blues out of the sky and all that. So we'll hit that mask, and we'll hit Command invert. So now it's black. So now it's affecting nothing. And I just paint with white right here, and that'll just take the blue out of this area where I don't want it, but leave it in that sky. There we go. That looks pretty good. Let's see, what else do we need to do? I'm going to do some cleanup now because it's commercial Airbnb. I'm just going to do it as quickly as I can. I'm going to use, what is that, the remove tool. I don't like these sky cranes. I'm going to take those out. Those aren't always there. There we go. Clean that up. That looks good. And then that's pretty ugly right there. Don't want to see that looking out your window, do you? I sometimes spend a while going through this and just cleaning up, taking out. I don't like to see electronics and that sort of thing. I really don't like to see outlets. Yeah, that one's gone. And you can see I'm going to have to take its reflection out. Make sure you always look for reflections. That goes away. Don't try and do too much removal all at once. Do one object at a time. And if that doesn't even work cleanly, just do parts of it at a time. See there, we still have the shadow. That's not good. So we'll take that out. Don't like this. That was like a dry erase board pen or something like that. And that other thing I just erased was a dry erase board. And definitely, let's take out the reflection first. Then we'll take out the power cable. That's super ugly. And then this. Clean that up. And let's take a look at the picture as a whole. Oh, there. No, that one we can leave. This one, though, we'll take those out. Let's get a little bigger. There we go. Looks like I didn't quite get that shadow completely out correctly. So let's take out that shadow and that sprinkler. I don't like sprinklers. There we go. That'll take that out. And then there. Now we won't even know that that was there. And that's from the flash. That's why I took that out. Looking around. I think we've cleaned that up pretty well. That looks pretty good. All right, so let's bring that down to one layer, and we'll do our topaz denoise on it. I'm going to sharpen the whole thing at the same time. Why not? Sharpen the subject. It always picks the subject, and I just go back in and I change it to all. But then I bring the strength down a lot too. and then send it back. And then once it's done with this, I'll make a copy of it and do my nick on it at that point. I think that looks pretty good. Make that copy, send it over to Nick, and all right, place the center out the window because your eye goes to the brightest thing. So I want that to be out the window. Bring up the whole room. Let's bring the contrast down just a teeny bit. I do like it's got a little bit of boost in saturation, but boom, there we go. I think we got a great image. And that sells that room really, really well. Our biggest problem was the light fall off from the window back towards us. We had to do that in two different exposures. But when you use masks and you use a very soft brush with a low flow, you can meld those and do what we did here, where it looks evenly exposed all the way through. That's it. We hit Control S, back to Lightroom, and we'll just do a quick crop on it. And that is it, boys and girls. Let's go. Let's see what our crop is going to look like. I think we're going to lose this wall like that. I think that looks good. Let's bring this in. Okay, so we've got that one line right on that in the window, that line right there, this line going even with the kitchen countertop. I think that's right where we want all our PowerPoints. So crop, we are done. How was that? I hope you learned something. That one was a quickie and it really wasn't too bad. In all honesty, most of what I do is going to be like this because it's just bang, 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 and you're done in 5 minutes. Really important to have a plan, know what you're going to do, and shoot to that plan. We could have used those other exposures that had the flash in it. We saw it, we went ahead and compensated for it, we reshot it, fixed it, and saved us a lot of time in editing. So don't always say fix it in post. Sometimes if you fix it on the shoot, you're done a lot quicker. In any case, like I said, it was a little complicated, but it went together really, really well. I'm really happy with that image. I think it did great. So there you go. Questions, comments, let me know. Otherwise, may your next image be your best image.